Hi, this is Jorge Economics, and in this video, we're going to look at why state services or government-controlled or government-owned services are always inefficient. So, where does efficiency come from? Efficiency if we had to define it, would be using less inputs to get more output. So you're more efficient utilizing your resources to deliver your products to society. So there's three primary drivers for efficiency in today's world. The first is competition. If I'm producing pencils and I'm the only competitor, well, I don't really have to focus on lowering the price of pencils or making my pencils at a better quality because customers are going to go to me. But let's say there's 10,000 other pencil producers. Oh, well, now I really need to focus on bringing the price of my pencils down to attract customers that were going to other competitors. I need to focus on increasing the quality of my pencils so that customers look more favorably at my pencils than other competitors. So competition, having to compete with other producers to get customers to buy your product, that drives efficiency. Because if you're not competing, if you're not lowering your prices or increasing your quality, then your competitors are going to get all the customers. So the first driver of efficiency is competition. What's the second? Innovation, right? If I have a mundane process, let's say the way I make pencils is all through labor, using my hands, I cut down the wood, I do this, I do that. Well, that's not really that efficient. If a competitor comes along and has a robot that does all of the processes necessary to deliver the product of a pencil, and it can do it way faster than me and at a way lower cost, well, that innovation, that technological innovation has just increased the efficiency of that business by an exponential amount. It allows the business to lower its costs. It allows the business to use resources that were otherwise being used in that process of, collecting pencils or chopping down the wood for pencils. Those resources that were being used can now be used in other areas because this innovative robot that they've invented can now do a lot of those processes with way less resources. So the second driver of efficiency in the economy is innovation, which is finding more efficient ways, finding better ways to do things. The third driver of efficiency is entrepreneurship. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is finding new ways, not necessarily innovative ways like creating new equipment or whatever to do things, but finding new ways or tweaking existing ways to deliver the same amount of output for less resources or more output for the same amount of resources. So it's essentially an entrepreneur is someone who finds a opportunity, someone who sees that, hey, this is what the world is doing, right? But there's a better way of doing things. We can use this resource instead of this resource, and it's going to make us more efficient. So entrepreneurship would be finding opportunities that the rest of the world doesn't see, finding more better ways to use resources or finding different resources. So those are the three drivers of efficiency. Competition, having to compete with your competitors by lowering your price or raising your quality. Innovation, finding technologically more efficient ways to deliver goods and services to society, freeing up resources that can be used in other areas. And entrepreneurship, finding hidden opportunities that the rest of the world doesn't see. Those are the three drivers of efficiency. Now, what is the incentive to compete? What is the incentive to innovate? What is the incentive for entrepreneurship? It's profit. It's profit, right? These people that are looking to compete with their competitors, why? Because they know if I can make my product at a lower price and charge lower prices, and if I can make it at a higher quality, all of the customers that were going to my competitors are going to come to me. So I'm going to make more profit. The incentive to compete is profit. What's the incentive to innovate? Profit. Why would I spend $100,000 researching how to make a new robot that's going to produce my product if I didn't think that that innovation would deliver me a profit. I wouldn't do it. The incentive to innovate and to find more technologically advanced ways to produce things is profit. That's the incentive. That's why they spend millions in research and development, because they believe that the innovation will deliver them more profit than what the investment or the research cost. Similarly with entrepreneurship, what's the incentive to find new opportunities, to tweak existing methods into more efficient ways? It's profit. The entrepreneur is seeking to make a profit by finding better ways or hidden ways of doing things. Now, is there profit in a state service? No. Right? The wages of the state services, the revenues of the state services are from taxes, right? They don't have to compete. They don't have to innovate. They don't have to be an entrepreneur to make profit, because their money, their revenue comes from taxes. The government steals the money from the citizens and gives it to the service provider. They have no incentive to compete or innovate or be entrepreneurial. There is no incentive, because their revenue, their wages, their income is dependent on government taxation. It's not dependent on getting more customers to voluntarily purchase their good or service. The reason state services will always be inefficient is because in a state service, in a state-provided service, there is no incentive to innovate. There is no incentive to compete. There is no incentive to be entrepreneurial, because the incentive of becoming more efficient, the incentive of becoming more competitive, more innovative, and more entrepreneurial is profit. That's the incentive. That's why you would spend millions of dollars on research and development. That's why you would try so hard to compete with your competitors, by raising your quality, right? But when you destroy the incentive to do something, people aren't going to do it. It's very simple. So by destroying the incentives of efficiency, there won't be efficiency, right? It's very simple. If efficiency comes from competition, innovation, and entrepreneurship, which it does, and those three factors are driven by the incentive to make a profit, well, if the service you're providing, if there's no profit to be made, if they don't make a profit, if it's just their money comes from taxation, well, they have no incentive to innovate, compete, and be entrepreneurial. They have no incentive to be efficient. They will not be efficient. So hopefully this very simple ideological explanation of why state services will always be inefficient, right? Hopefully you found this of value. Thank you.